Broadcasting live from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip. It's time to get on the right side of sports betting. It's time for the Odds Couple.
Welcome to the Odds Couple on the world-famous Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard, joined as always by my good friend, co-host Anthony Padilla.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be here. Today we will be talking about Scotty all day, every day, right here on the Odds Couple. It is Scott Pritchard. And we'll be also talking about a new team, same colors for Alex Smith, one final meaningless test for college football players, and Derek Fisher, a.k.a. the new Brett Favre.
Hey, this looks familiar. I'm glad to be back. Before we get to Anthony's What Say You, let's get to my What Say Me. It's all about me. Derek Fisher, five-time NBA champion with the LA Lakers. In November, he decided to join the Dallas Mavericks because he's going after championship number 6. I see Derek Fisher as insignificant. This guy is an attention whore. So much so that he put the number 6 on his jersey. Maybe we can live with that. He joined the Mavs because he wanted to win a 6th championship. But after a few weeks, he decided, you know what, this team sucks. They have no shot at an NBA championship this year. So with all due respect, he went to the Mavs and said, listen, it's been fun, but not a lot of fun. I'm all about my family. I need to spend more time with my family. So they respectfully let him go. This past week, Derek Fisher signed with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Guess his family isn't all that important after all. The Thunder went to the NBA championship a year ago. They're in second place behind my San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference. They have a legit shot at getting back. So Derek Fisher, an attention whore. What say you?
I agree. Because and you know, I was looking at this trying to find, because Derek Fisher's always been a likable guy. Throughout the league, you know, there were a couple years ago when he was with the Lakers, and during the finals, his daughter had that traumatic eye emergency, and you know, he was back and forth to be with her. It was a great story. But now, as I mentioned in the open of the show, I kind of feel like he's the new Brett Favre. You know, how much arrogance can you have to come back and say, I've missed the whole season. I was going to stay retired because of what you said. I'm going to spend time with my family. I mean, this just goes to show words are meaningless. If an athlete says them, it doesn't matter until we see what they do. Because now he comes back and says, I'm going to put number 6 on my jersey in a quest for my 6th championship. In the meantime, a guy is getting booted from the roster to make room for Derek Fisher, who the team has even admitted is going to come in as a role player and as a guy who's probably not going to have a lot of minutes or touch the ball very much, but he's got those intangibles. Are you kidding? I mean, again, last year he came back and he put number 37 on his jersey to show that he could still play beyond, you know, being with the Lakers, and that was something to prove. And now he just wants to come back and do this for another ring. I don't like when athletes, I have no problem with athletes retiring and coming back. I understand if they miss the game. But when you miss half of a season and then come back midway through and just sign with the contender, now, I mean, I guess you can say, well, good for them if a team's going to sign them. But at the same time, I don't like the arrogance that stands behind that. And the integrity of a man, I think, is far more important. But I think he gets lost in a situation like this.
I don't think Derek Fisher is all that important of a basketball player at this late date. He's a tremendous liability on defense. He's a decent three-point shooter, but he's basically one-dimensional. I don't think he's going to help the Thunder. Now, Alex Smith, big news this week, officially not going to be announced until March 12th when officially they can announce the trade. But the fact is that Alex Smith, backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, has been traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. Alex Smith, 20-6, his regular season record. He led the Niners to the NFC Conference Championship game a year and a half ago, or actually just a year ago. And what you have here is a quarterback who was doing really well. Week 10, had a concussion, got knocked out. Colin Kaepernick stepped in, led the Niners to the Super Bowl. So he has been expendable at the expense of Jim Harbaugh and the Niner front office. What say you?
You know what? Here's why I feel bad for Alex Smith. How much would that suck to go from the 49ers to the Chiefs, where you're not even changing colors? I mean, that's horrible, right? Like, you would think, like, there's 32 teams. It's not like you're going to switch teams a lot. You at least hope to go to a team where it's just drastically different. And you still got to be stuck with that red. Aside from that, everything's great. I mean, good for him. You know, I felt bad for him last year when he got benched. He took it in stride. I think the worst part about last season, not so much getting benched, because sometimes that happens. Unfortunately, you do nothing wrong. He could take solace in knowing he did nothing wrong to lose his job. But those Visa commercials kept running the entire season where they're going to the Super Bowl, and he's the primary focus in that commercial. And they had to watch that week in and week out, knowing he was no longer the starting quarterback. That would be the worst part of it. But as far as going forward, look, he was a great guy in the locker room. Everybody has spoken out on his behalf. Vernon Davis says he's like a brother and he was a great teammate to have and he wishes him the best. Colin Kaepernick says he was always in his ear, coaching him up, and he was a great mentor to have. I think everybody's rooting for this guy, and good for him. I hope he has a good start in Kansas. And they're not in the NFC, so it doesn't affect Dallas, so good for him.
I think Alex Smith will be a very good quarterback in the AFC, namely for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you look at the Chiefs, worst team in football this year, but I'm here to tell you, the fact that they picked up Andy Reid, outstanding coach, led the Eagles to 5 conference championship games in the NFC. I look at this team, it's a good fit. Alex Smith, a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, but a very good quarterback. The Chiefs have not had a quarterback since Len Dawson way back in, well, actually they had Joe Montana for a season or two, but prior to that, Len Dawson back in the 70s. So I look at Alex Smith helping this Chiefs team. They have a very favorable schedule. They have a weak-ass division. They have the Broncos, but other than that, you play the Raiders twice. You play the Phillip Rivers-led Chargers twice a year. Their non-division schedule is very, very favorable. I really expect with Jamal Charles, a stud running back for the Chiefs, the fact that they're getting the #1 pick this year, and Alex Smith stepping in at the quarterback position, Andy Reid, the coach, has a lot to prove. This Chiefs team will be much, much improved from a year ago.
You know what? He might not be a great quarterback right now, but I'll tell you who's going to make him a great quarterback, Andy Reid.
I agree.
Just because of what he's done with quarterbacks in the past, I'm really excited to see what he does with him. And you know what? This could have been a blessing in disguise. Everybody thinks it was a blessing in disguise for Colin Kaepernick. I think it's the other way around. I think this gave Alex Smith the opportunity to get out of San Francisco, where he was good the last couple of years, but again, you remember he struggled for a while and was questioned a lot as far as what he brought to the table. I think this now gives him that fresh start that he was looking for with a team that's better to do it.
Well, I love Colin Kaepernick, but again, I think Alex Smith, what did this guy do wrong? Come on. 20 wins, 6 losses, led the Niners to within 1 game of the Super Bowl. It wasn't his fault that he got kicked in the head with a concussion.
It's true. Well, I'll tell you another team that's having a hard time losing this year is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, Derek Fisher's coming to the team, but I'm bringing them up because it is time to head to Spin to Win, where it's one of our favorite segments of the show. As you know, in this segment, we've got the wheel. We have 2 teams on it. This week, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder heading to Denver to take on the Nuggets, where the Thunder are favored by 1.5 points. As always, we've got the lovely Tara. She's going to spin the wheel. Scott and I are forced to take a team and make arguments for that team because the smart bettor always knows you bet with your head. I always want to say your heart. I really want to bet with my heart.
You're an emotional guy.
But you bet with your head, not with your heart. So, Tara, if you would, please.
What is that? That is, wait a minute, hold on, keep going. Oh, Scotty's got the Thunder.
Thank you for clarifying. I had no idea what the heck that was. Oklahoma City Thunder. I see that. Now I see it, but my eyes are not too good. That's why I will not use notes. When you retain everything right between your ears or even your eyes, it's amazing what you can remember.
Is that Thunder, though? It looks like more of a bunny's ass.
Well, we're gonna. The Oklahoma City Thunder minus the 1.5 at the Denver Nuggets. This is cheap. They have a very good coach in Scott Brooks. I like the fact that they're second in the Western Conference behind the San Antonio Spurs. They're just 3 games back. A team that made it to the NBA Finals last year before losing James Harden. They did pick up Kevin Martin. He's been a good fit. He spreads the floor, very good free throw shooter, very good 3-point shooter. It's all about Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Durant, perhaps the best team in the league next to LeBron James. Oklahoma City Thunder, here's what you have. I love the fact that they shoot a high percentage from the field. They get to the free throw line, and they shoot a high percentage from the free throw line as well. The point spread for this game, Thunder minus 1.5. It's cheap, and here's why. It's projected to be a close game. Good teams win the close games. I respect the Nuggets at home. They're giant killers at home. They dominate the paint. But the thing with the Thunder, late, it's going to be in Kevin Durant's hand. The guy's a 90% free throw shooter, so forget the money line. Lay the 1.5. See the cashier.
All right, look, you've got Denver, the second worst team. I'm sorry, one of the worst teams. Well, I don't know if I would say worst. There's just something about Denver that I don't like. I think a little bit of inconsistency. But here's one thing. Again, Oklahoma City is a very good team. It's hard to make arguments against them. But two facts coming into this game. Both of these teams, rather, are riding a 3-game winning streak. Denver, Scott, has only lost. Do you know how many home games they've lost this year?
Maybe 2?
3.
3, okay.
3 home games all year. So clearly, this team is great at home. Look, we don't even need to get into numbers today or stats because of the fact that we're getting deeper in the season. And this is the point. We've got a really good Thunder team going on the road now with all of this stuff going on with Derek Fisher and all this stuff in the news. And again, you think it doesn't make a difference, but I tell you, it's the intangibles that will play factors in day-to-day games like this. So going into Denver, where Denver has only lost 3 games all season at home, and they're only 1.5-point underdogs, definitely take Denver plus the 1.5.
We'll see how it plays out. I mean, Denver Nuggets, as we come down now, we only have about 22, 23 games left in the course of the regular season. Do you have an opinion on who's going to come out of the West, the East, or the NBA Finals?
Well, I'm pulling for the Lakers not to do anything at all. I think, and that seems to be the focus of everybody right now, are the Lakers. I'm amazed by this. I've never seen one team fighting for the 8th seed get so much attention as the Lakers are, and it's game by game.
I think it has to do with the fact, did you know that they actually play in Hollywood, they play in Los Angeles? I think that's why. They're going to create drama and excitement simply because it's the Lakers. But I don't mind going one-on-one with Kobe Bryant. Again, 10 days ago, Kobe Bryant said, listen, I guarantee my team, the Laker girls, will make the NBA playoffs. No, they won't. I love Kobe Bryant as a player, but he better stick to playing basketball and not handicapping his own team.
Well, you know what? What kind of guarantee is this? I mean, if you're going to guarantee a championship, fine, but when you're guaranteeing that you're going to go in as the 8th seed, yeah, no big deal. And then what, Kobe's going to be the hero because he guaranteed that they get in, because they go on a late run? I mean, it means nothing to me. But as far as your question before that, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, who's going to beat the Heat when it comes to the playoffs?
In the Eastern Conference, I don't think anyone will beat the Heat in the Eastern Conference because the East is weak. But you look at the San Antonio Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder or even the LA Clippers, the West is loaded with talent. But the Heat, they're guaranteed to be in the NBA Finals. Okay, you can't win if you don't get there. In the West, you have 3 big teams, namely the Clippers, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you have the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay, well,
any one of those 3
Scott,
can get there.
That's a great 10-minute answer to my question, but you didn't really answer the question. Which of those teams can beat the Heat? Because I don't think any of them. I think the Thunder.
I didn't say any of them. I have one team, one time that will beat the Heat.
The Spurs.
Yes.
Yes. I don't think it's going to happen because of the stuff that we've talked about previously. With Popovich, the way he plays, it works for the regular season, but for some reason, now when they get to the playoffs, it just doesn't favor him. He does have an old team.
They've only won 5 NBA championships, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
This is coming from the guy who says the past doesn't matter.
History has a way of repeating itself. When you're talking about futures, it does matter, but if you're talking week to week, it's a 3-hour contract.
So
it depends on the day.
Exactly.
It depends what my stance is. But no, it has to do with if you're talking game to game, it's a 2.5-hour contract, period. But if you're talking about who's going to win the NBA championship 3 years from now in mid-June, it has to do with, I love proven winners. I make no apologies for that. Even the Atlanta Falcons during the course of the regular season, they went 13-3. You're at home for the championship game. You're within 1 play of going to the Super Bowl. Again, proven winners tend to rise to the top of the equation.
How are the Atlanta Falcons a proven winner?
The Atlanta Falcons are a proven winner during the course of the regular season. They went to the Super Bowl in 1998, and they also
this is 2013. I think it's a different roster.
No, listen, this is funny coming from a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yes, but I don't live off the past. I don't say, well, back when we had Tom Landry, it doesn't matter what we did then.
So the fact that the Miami Heat won the NBA championship this year,
they have the same team. They have the same team as they won it with last year. That matters.
Actually, they've improved their team. They picked up Rashard Lewis and they picked up Ray Allen.
Yes, so they've improved the already existing roster, which they maintain.
So you're stepping out, going on a limb, going with the big favorites, saying the Heat are going to win the
That's
NBA
what you just
title.
said. History has a way of repeating itself, so therefore favorites are favorites for a reason. They're not a favorite because people just say, oh, well, they've got LeBron and Dwayne. No, they've proven themselves over the last year and a half. The first year they were together.
Get to the bottom line. Who do you think is going to win the NBA championship?
The whole thing, the Thunder. Wow. Folks, we are day to day here. We never know what's going on. But we have a good time doing it. We hope you're enjoying yourselves. You're watching The Odds Couple. We're taking a break. Come right back on the Vegas Video Network.
One of the things I like best about the Vegas Video Network are the people. There are no divas here. Everyone is exactly the same off camera as they are on.
Hey guys, what's cocktail of the week this week?
You know what? I'll let you know what it is when it's time for you to know what it is. Why don't you get off the stage and get back in your production hole? Oh my God. You know what? And tell cheap ass Whitney to get us some decent brand liquor. This hobo off-ramp crap ain't cutting it. God, idiots.
Totally.
Did I hear that bartender correctly? He said cheap ass Whitney?
No.
I know I could never get away with saying it. I would never say it because it's not true.
That was scripted.
It was? Okay, that makes more sense. Welcome back to The Odds Couple on the world-famous Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard, joined as always by Anthony Padilla. We would love for you to continue to be a part of the show. Number of ways you can do that. Reach out to us via email, oddscouple@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's oddscouple@vegasvideonetwork.com. We would also love to hear your voice on our show. You can do that through web-based voicemail. Simply go to our site on the right-hand side, a red bar, click there. Middle of the page right there, that big fat green bar, start recording, voila, you're on the show. Now, you also can reach out to us through live chat. We love fielding live chat questions. If you miss us live, no worries. Reach out to us on YouTube, iTunes, Vegas Video Network, also Roku, okay? Now, in the world of sports betting in specific, we're talking about frustration. Are you kidding me?
NFL Combine. Man, I love football, and I love watching all the cool little stuff that they do with NFL Films and all the different programming. I cannot wrap my head around the NFL Combine, Scott. I don't see a point to it. I don't see the benefit of it. All I see it as is, and I don't care what NFL talking heads tell you that it's value it. I'm sorry, I'm flustered about this because I've been trying for the last week since it happened, and for the last 3 years, as they add to it, because let me tell you what they do. They do the 40-yard dash, the bench press, the vertical jump, the broad jump, 3-cone drill, and the shuttle run. All of these are done in Under Armour cutoff gear and shorts, no pads, no spikes, nobody in your face, just a stopwatch, and you doing these drills. That's it. A guy this week running the 40-yard dash face planted when he crossed the finish line. If anything, I don't think it matters what your time is. You can't keep your feet. If you're doing this to find out what this tells you about these guys and their future in the NFL, obviously this guy is not sure of foot. Is this the guy you want handling the ball? Now, obviously, it doesn't matter if you fall when you're running as fast as you can through sand, but none of it matters, all right? Either put some drills together where it's non-contact, but they're padded up and they're going against guys, or really, just get rid of it. They've got the Wonderlic test, which is supposed to test the football IQ of these guys to see where their heads are, and you've got stuff about everything in life. It's almost like another ACT. You might as well throw it out the window because some guys that have done the worst on that go on to have the best careers in the league, and some guys that do the best are out of the league within a year or two. None of this means anything. They say that it's to test the intangibles. They've got sit-down interviews for 4 hours, and every team gets 15 minutes with a number of different players and blah, blah. None of it means a thing because of the fact that you have 4 years of tape. I'm amazed when we talk about wasting money. I don't care how much money you pay a guy, but these teams have scouts that they send out to watch these guys every game during their college career. And they're going to different college campuses to watch these guys play. And then even after all of that apparently means nothing because then they have the NFL Combine Day. And then after the NFL Combine, they have the Pro Day for each individual school. At what point, enough is enough? You're telling me, and really, if this is what you're telling me, and I've got a bigger issue, that one bad pro day can negate 4 years of good quality football and actually drop your draft status? There's bigger problems in the NFL. Come on, are you kidding me?
I have to address this with my good friend Anthony. I never know what he's going to say, and it's occurred to me that's because he doesn't know what he's going to say. The NFL Combine serves a specific purpose. I had no idea this is what you were going to talk about, but I have to respectfully disagree. The NFL Combine serves a very big purpose. Before we get to my, are you kidding me? I have to address this. My good buddy, Don Beebe, Shadron State College, Nebraska, the 80s. No one knew who this kid was. He was working for his dad's construction company. He wanted to play professional football. He went to the NFL Combine and ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. He ended up being the #1 pick of the Buffalo Bills in 1981 because of one skill, speed. He also went on to become the first player in the National Football League to play in 6 Super Bowls, and he had the record fastest time of 4.21 in the 40-yard dash, okay? And that record was eventually broken in 2007. But in 1989, the National Football League had been around for 60 years, and no player had ever run faster than Don Beebe. But because of the Combine, he went on to become the first player to play in 6 Super Bowls.
Okay, well then you know what? Then this is what it needs to be for. The Combine then, to your point, needs to be for guys who aren't top prospects. In fact, if you're projected to go in the first 2 rounds, you are not invited to the Combine. Just like the only people invited to New York to sit at the table are going to be the top 10 or 15 guys, and those are the guys that get to go be at the big draft party and be on TV, then the Combine should not be for anybody except the guys like the Don Beebes who nobody knows about, the guys who maybe didn't have the greatest college career, the guys who didn't play at the biggest D1 schools. That way it's an opportunity for other guys to get seen, because I value that point. But that means now other guys who are there are now wasting the time of everybody, taking away from those guys who might have a shot because of the Combine.
We're going to move right along into my segment of Are You Kidding Me? Friends, what kind of an idiot bets thousands of dollars on a day-to-day basis, and then when you have winning tickets, you lose them? Are you kidding me? Me. It happened to me. I can't believe it. I still cannot believe it. 30 years of doing this, I lost winning tickets. The good news is, based on a pretty reasonable memory, I don't know what I had for breakfast this morning, don't know what I did yesterday, but when it comes to sports betting, I retain things pretty well. I recovered 70% of my lost tickets, but it took me a month at Coast Properties. Michael, the friendly people there, they locked out my tickets because I was concerned that maybe I was robbed. I can't admit to the fact that I actually lost them, but I thought maybe I was robbed and someone tried to cash them out. They locked out the tickets at 2 different properties. At Coast Properties, it was 60 days, received my money. At another sports book, based on memory, and again, I only retained 70%, but 70% beats 0. Now, the solution to the problem? Get a player's card. I don't recommend that either, because one time in 30 years I had losing tickets. And I talked to fellow professional sports bettor Dink. I said, man, I am so embarrassed. I can't believe this happened. I said, has it ever happened to you? And he said, yes, it happens to anyone and everyone. He's come across winning tickets from 2-3 years out. Remember, there's an expiration date on tickets, 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the sports book. So when it comes to sports betting tickets, please, when I had runners, when people would make bets for me called messenger betting, I would always have them write down a PIN number, because in case they were robbed or in case they lost a ticket, I always have a recourse. But are you kidding me?
I don't have tickets to lose.
Do you have any money to
Not really.
lose?
I don't have money to play. That's it.
That's all we've got?
That's all you got?
Is there anything? We are live, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Do you want to do?
Oh, maybe I'll start
Yeah.
that. Are you okay if I start it this
Are you
week?
sure? I don't know. Do you want to go back and talk about the Combine some more?
We're good. No, I think we've buried that dog. All right, we're going to talk now about putting money into your pocket. It's a part of the show where Anthony and I together put you on the right side. Am I Anthony?
Here we go again. That camera's loving you today, Scotty. I think we have a live video chat question from a fan of yours, Scott Whitney. All right. The right side for me this week, I have the Houston Rockets heading to Orlando to take on the Magic, lackluster team this year. The Rockets are favored by 8.5 in this game. Before I get to that game, I'm going to go back last week, talk about another game that I had, the Suns and the Celtics. Celtics were only favored by 2, which I didn't understand. They won by 22, so once again, winner, winner. If you bet with me, never against me. Scotty also, he'll get to it in a second, he was also a big winner. Guys, look, there's one thing I can tell you about what we do. Listen to us, all right? We pick winners on this show, and this week's going to be no exception. That's why I go with the games I do. Easy winners. It doesn't matter. Right, Scotty? The sportsbook doesn't say, well, we're not going to put this game on the board because this is an obvious win. They don't do that. They let you bet on anybody. So if that's the case, then we're going to pick the easy ones. That's what you should do. You should pick the money where you know it's easiest to make. This one, we've got Houston going to Orlando, where Orlando is absolutely, by all statistical accounts, the second worst team in the league. And Houston is 3 games in front of the Lakers for that final spot. Now, you've got James Harden, who came into town and is just on a tear, showing why he deserves every bit of that new contract and more. Jeremy Lin is still kind of, which guy are you going to get? But he's still a good basketball player, and I think it's just taking him a little bit of time to settle in that town, but he's still doing very well overall. This team looks good. March 1st, a lot of games left. It's still very important for this Houston team, and I think there's more riding on this. In fact, Orlando wants to lose. They want the lottery pick. I mean, that's what you've got in the NBA. You end up with that worst right. I mean, you want that lottery draft pick when it comes around. So if they can finish last, I'm not saying they're going to lose or they're trying to lose, but I am saying there are guys starting to cash it in. And the Magic don't really have a big-name star on that team. And Houston coming into town, 8.5-point favorites on a Friday night, that 3-game lead on the Lakers. Sometimes you can break it down player by player by player. Sometimes you don't need to. All you need to know in this game is the Magic's defense is the only thing that they have going for them to try and slow down a high-power Houston offense. And if they can't do that, it's going to be a long night. And so the right side for me clearly in this one is going to be Houston minus the 8.5. Go ahead, cash your ticket. Don't lose it. There you go.
I have no idea what Anthony is talking about when he talks about easy picks, easy games. There's no such thing. That's why there's a point spread there. So please clarify. I mean, I'm happy that together last week we won by over 50 points.
Scott, what I'm trying to do is instill confidence in our viewers that we pick winners. Obviously, it's not easy.
We lose credibility if we say there are easy games. There's no such thing.
This is Vegas, man. You sell them what you want sold. You don't sell them the actuality of it. Otherwise, they could do it themselves. Just get to your pick.
Before we get to my right side, last week my play won. I had a total that won by 32, 33 points. But again, we're not going to oversell you on the fact that collectively we won by over 50 points ATS against the spread last week, because I know Anthony's been on the other side where he's lost by 50. No, wait, that was me. That was me. Never mind. We don't want to talk about that. Okay, the right side, I'm talking about the Suns at home against the Atlanta Hawks. The total for this game, 194.5. The Atlanta Hawks led by their star stud forward, Josh Smith. I'm a big fan of this guy, but the Atlanta Hawks are on the road. They're favored by 4. We're taking a look at the total. The Phoenix Suns are an embarrassment, okay? I remember my good buddy, it was Anthony, a few weeks ago, who liked the Suns, plus the 12 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I only bring this up because it's few and far between when he has a losing pick, but they lost by 30. I said, Anthony, don't worry about it. You get your money back because they're doing a home and away. The next night they played them again. It was on the road. They lost again by 30. But the fact is, this team, the Suns, as bad, as ugly as they are, they were a 16-point dog 2 nights ago against the San Antonio Spurs. They won that game straight up. Wow. I think part of it has to do with Jermaine O'Neal. He's back. He's healthy. He's playing good ball. 18, 19 points a game, 8, 9, 10 rebounds a game. This guy is the real deal. Lives here in Las Vegas. He's a friend. I love Jermaine O'Neal. I love ugly teams. The Phoenix Suns are an ugly team. Red Rover. I love the over is my pick for this week in the Suns-Hawks game, over 194.5. See the cashier.
What's funny about what you said is you say that there's no easy winners, you can't pick winners, yet the only games you pick are the ones where you can sing that stupid song about the over.
Actually, what's interesting about that is I am a dead under player, but I cannot find a rhyme for the under. And so in the spirit of this show, I like the over. I bet the over. So yes, Red Rover, I love the over. But
and you pick winners.
As a side note, yes. But if you could come up with a rhyme for under, I do say underdogs are oftentimes undervalued, and it's true. I really believe that.
Well, just find something rhyming with Scott. That would be the
My name
ultimate
is
underdog.
Scott. Well,
you don't have to do it now.
No? Okay.
I'm just saying, going into the future, that could be your underdog song.
I'm Scott. Women never find me hot.
I just said we don't have to do it now, but the lines are blowing up now all of a sudden.
Well, I've never listened to you before, so why would I start now? All right, let's wrap it up. What do you say, Anthony? What are you doing this weekend? I hear birds. What's going on? We have birds?
We've got something back there. Well, you know where I'm going to be. We celebrated a successful first 6 months last weekend. Comedy After Dark starring Anthony Padilla at the LVH. I love it over there. It's such a great room. The Shimmer Cabaret, 10 o'clock every Wednesday through Sunday. And you will be there with us tonight.
Anthony Padilla is a star in Las Vegas. Marquee sign, LVH, where Elvis used to play. That was back in the day. Today, Anthony Padilla is playing there. I'm actually going to join him tonight doing some comedy. Tonight, again next Friday. If you're in Las Vegas this weekend, check me out, LA Comedy Club on the Strip at Bally's Hotel Casino. Check out my plays, VegasInsider.com, my site, Pritchard'sPicks.com. For my good buddy Anthony Padilla, I'm Scott Pritchard. Good luck and goodbye.